This video, let's talk about strings. Strings are anything that is wrapped between single quotes or double quotes. For example, we can have a variable called name, and this can be standing for a string such as Sally, Jonathan. Now, strings are objects that belong to a class of string. To find out if they are objects, we can print the type. We can use type to find out which class they belong to. So we can say print name. So when I save that and run this code and run this, and then we see that the string name belongs to a class of string. So I'm going to clear this. And next thing we're going to do is to find out we can also use other variables within our program to run within strings. For example, I can create a variable called age and I assign it a number of 2, and then I can be able to create a print function, so I can output strings by using a print function. So to put variables within strings, we use what we call f strings. So I can say f, then I say my name is, then I can use these curly braces and then replace the variable I would like to put inside here. So I can say my name is name and my age is, I can replace my age with, let's say, age. And when you print this, so I'm going to run this code. I'm going to first comment this. So I'm going to save with Ctrl S and run this. So I'm going to run the code, and when you run this, we see that my name is Sally Jonathan and my age is 2. So another thing about strings is that strings are iterables. For example, we can iterate over the name Sally Jonathan to print each string within the name. So for example, I can say for I in name, we can print name. Don't worry about the for loop, we shall cover that later. So I'm going to save, and when I run this, we see that we are printing the name for all characters within the name. But if we want to print whatever letter is within the name, I'm going to close this, so we can instead say print I, and when we save and run, this is going to print every character within our name, including the space. So the space is also a string in Python. For example, we can say print an empty space. And when I print this, so I'm going to comment this print statement. I'm going to actually comment the whole for loop. And when I run this, I'm going to run the code. So we see that we have an error. So let me first fix this. I'm going to first fix this. So let me comment this and save. After saving, I am going to run the code. So this prints an empty string or an empty space. Now, strings are objects that belong to a class and therefore have methods that run on them. For example, we can print our name in capital letters. So we can say print name. Then if we want to access the methods that run on strings, we can say dot on strings. So we can say capitalize, and when we call a capitalize function, it will print our name in capital. It will capitalize our name. So also going to do the same for lowercase. So we can say name dot lower. So when we run dot lower on our name, it's going to return it in lowercase, and we're going to do the same for uppercase. So we can say name dot upper. So when you save this, and you run this code. So let me first comment other print statements. So I'm going to comment this as save. Now when you run this, you see that it's going to print our name at first, as capitalized. Then for the second case, it's going to print it in lowercase. And for the third case, it will print it as the uppercase. You can do quite a lot of things with strings. For example, we can be able to also concatenate strings. So we talk about concatenating strings. And this basically means adding strings. For example, you can have a first name being equal to Sally and our second name being equal to Jonathan. Now to concatenate these, we mean we are going to add these two strings. For example, we can say print first name plus last name. So actually this is second name. So when I save this, I'm going to first comment these print statements and save. So when I run this code, you see that our name is not defined. We may have commented it out. So let's see. So I'm going to go. So let's try again. So we have our name. All this is commented. So when I run again, let's remove this for now and save. When I run this code, we see that our name has been added. However, we are not having any space between our name, and this shows us that also blank spaces are part of a string. So let's fix this. So you know that for us to add our name, we can be able to add our name and then say plus. Then we can add an empty space between our name. And when we run this, we can be able to see that our name is now having a blank space.